I did actually check it out. And did you write three books so far, or do you have more?
No, I have one.
Just one?
Yeah, just one.
I was gonna say when I was checking your website, I thought I saw three things on the bottom right there. I didn't know if it was like the same book.
Yeah, it's the same book, but it's in Hungarian language and English language,
Oh, okay, I
and
see.
PDF and print version. So basically, I have four products on the website: the print and the PDF in English and Hungarian language. But it's just one. It's the same book.
I guess where can people go to actually check it out?
Yeah, and also Hudson Music released it. The whole book was released last April, and so it's on Hudson Music and also on my website. And yeah, uh, I'm happy that I could. Many people bought it already. I don't know about the Hudson Music numbers yet. I will get the numbers in April, but I think it's above 200 copies sold. So that's I'm happy with that.
That's pretty good. And
Because when I wrote, I thought that maybe if I sell five, that's cool. But it turned out that more people are interested, and still I need to put in more marketing in that because I see that from every part of the world, people have already ordered it. Also the print and the PDF. I've sent more. I've sent a lot of prints to the USA. Also, people bought it from China, from New Zealand to Mexico and Italy, and also so I think there is interest in people for that. I just need to do better marketing to spread it more.
it's spreading globally now. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm planning that. It would be cool.
That's a lot going forward there, man. But it's funny for me trying to think of like how your career choice is going to go. Normally, when you're a kid, you're like saying like, "Oh, I want to grow up to be a famous person," for instance, maybe in some sort of sport, even maybe a musician. Maybe some people think of rock stars at times. But what was that one day you said, "Mom, I want to be a touring musician. I want to be a writer. I want to be a drum teacher." What made you just want to settle on all these? Was it just something that just came up and was like, "I'll give it a try and see where it goes"?
Yeah, it wasn't when I started playing the drums, I didn't have these kind of dreams first. I mean, yeah, I often imagined as I was just practicing, I often imagined actually playing in front of an audience, but it wasn't my main goal that, oh my God, I want to be famous and I want to be on the boards around the town and I want everybody to recognize me on the streets. So it was all about drumming that I just enjoyed. I didn't care about these things. It was just the drums and me. And even when I went to music school at 18, which is like a high school here in Hungary, because before that I was just having private lessons. I simultaneously went to university. I studied sociology, and at that time, still at when I was 18, it wasn't decided yet that I will be a professional drummer. This will be my life, my whole existence. I didn't know it yet, that time yet. But when I went to the university and the music school at the same time, it it quickly turned out that I want this. I want to be a musician. And luckily, during when I was still in school, I could get into a Hungarian band, which was a well-known band, so I could start touring. And then when I finished school, I kind of already had a job. It's like when you come out of university, sometimes you need to search for a job for a year. But when I finished school, I was already working, and then I got more connections, more people started calling me. So it's like a linear thing. I'm happy to say that my whole career is a nice linear curve upwards.
Yeah,
But it's
that's
not.
okay. That was a,
It didn't have these huge steps. It's just this. But I worked. I practiced and still do, and I got a little bit better opportunities every time, and a bit better, and that's how it goes for me.
absolutely. Most people don't really get that sort of luck too. They always seem to maybe get a step or then it like falls down at times. Or your case, it was able to keep going upward. You kept getting some luck here. You're able to leave your profession, what your original job was, I should say, and then you become the person you are today. So That's pretty good. So I wish you all the
Yeah,
best luck there, bud.
I'm, I'm really grateful for that.
Absolutely. So you did mention a few names so far, and I don't know, would you consider these guys to be your biggest influences? I know you mentioned the Police, like Stuart Copeland and stuff like that, and some of the metal drummers too, like Vinnie Paul. I guess who would you consider has been your biggest influence?
Overall, you mean the overall influence or from the older times?
Uh, you could say overall, and then I guess if you had anybody else who kind of influenced you too, you can list them off as well.
Yeah, overall, I think the greatest influence was Jojo Mayer. For the drummer I am today, he had a very big influence or impact because his playing started this whole thing in me, and also I really love Chris Dave and Mark Juliana, and I think I learn and get inspired by a lot of YouTube and Instagram drummers who are not world famous yet. But yeah, the bigger the famous guys I would say is definitely Jojo Mayer, Chris Dave, Mark Juliana. Yeah, these they are the top three for me.
That's pretty sweet. All right, and you kind of mentioned about a bunch of gear too, and I guess in this case, what do you strictly use when you want to do a drum cover, or I guess really any sort of video?
I record these drum covers in my studio, so there I have the same or similar kit all the time, which is one bass drum, one floor tom, one or two or three snares, the SPDSX, and currently I'm using like four stacks and the crash, three stacks, a hi-hat and the crash, and I love my small timbale snare, which is like I use it on the left side. It's very cool for like drum and bass or jungle beats. And I record myself I have a Midas MR18 audio interface and a variety of microphones. I have some Audix microphones, some Shure, some Sennheiser mics, and I record and mix in Ableton.
Oh, you use Ableton. I was gonna say I've always rolled with Logic too. I guess did you always stick with Ableton, or have you jumped around with various DAWs?
When I started working anything music related on the computer, I used Cubase, but for the last, I don't know, 8 years, I've been using Ableton.
You know, I tried Ableton Live, which is the free version for it, and this is when I was trying to search out like what sort of DAW I wanted to get into. It was easier with Max because Logic just comes right with it. It's only $200, so I would say that's probably one of the cheapest. I don't know how much some of the other ones were, but I guess what is it that you loved about Ableton? Was it just worked well strictly for the music you were getting into?
I don't know, because I think Ableton has many more, possibilities that I don't even use. The live for a live setting, I don't really use that part. I only use the mixing and recording part. I don't know. It's for me, it's very user friendly and understandable, and it's logical. Probably Logic is also logical, but actually, I just started when I wanted to take mixing or creating videos more seriously. This is the first one I tried, and I got used to it, and I'm still learning about it, getting new plugins. But I just like it. It's for me, it's very comfortable.
Logic is logical, pun intended. There we go.
Yeah.
No, I like that too. Though I like that. All right. So let's see. I think you did talk about COVID. You did mention about COVID, and obviously you were doing online classes and stuff like that too. So I guess how bad did COVID? Keep it on tongue. How bad did COVID impact you and your family and community?
Well, COVID hit here in March 2012, and lockdown came in the mid. I think I would have had a gig on a Wednesday, and on Tuesday night they locked the country down. So from one day to the other, I could delete all the dates from my calendar for 3 or 4 months, and that was going to concerts and playing live is my main source of income. So it hit me. Yeah. That's why I started teaching online and also working more on the YouTube channel. But luckily, I've been a musician for a long time, so already I already always prepared for the winter time. So, during summer you work more, you earn more, and then winter, and then you need to save money to survive the winter and spring when you don't have gigs. So I was kind of prepared for that, but it was bad. But I started looking at the whole thing from a different perspective. Is that I had all the time I wanted, and I could really rest myself or relax. First, maybe in the first few weeks when we didn't know what's gonna happen, we were just waiting for, oh, it's gonna last for 2 weeks and then we can go and start gigging. So I took the time to just relax. But when we saw that it's not gonna happen for a few more months, then I was kind of full of energy already, and then I started. Okay, I said, okay, now I have all the time. I'm gonna go and spend more time in the studio and get more, deep. I got deeper in Ableton and producing stuff and mixing. So I immediately started using my time. Not, luckily, I didn't get depressed and stuff. I started using, and I was full of energy and I was inspired.
That's definitely good to hear. And I guess you didn't have any pressure with COVID, did you?
No, I didn't.
Okay, that's good. I would say I did, and it just made me very tired. And even when I hopped on the drums, just trying to play some of the metal music I play too, I just realized I just kept telling myself, I gotta go to bed. I just can't do it. So it's a good thing too. So just be careful where you're going. And I did forget to ask, but the groups you've been a part of, have you guys just strictly stayed in Hungary, or have you gone to other countries like Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia, any of those other ones?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in many countries around Hungary, because in the neighboring countries many Hungarians live. So we Hungarian bands usually go to Romania, for example, or Slovakia or Serbia to play for Hungarian audience. So I've been playing in the surrounding countries many times, and also I've been working for Roland as a demonstrator for a lot of years, for 10 years, and with them I went to do demonstrations to Prague, to Romania as well, and also, yeah, I've been to London, I've been to Sweden to play concerts. Actually, I've been to many countries in Europe, but as on holiday, I've been to like 2 or 3 times. I've been to holiday, like a real holiday for a week abroad. I think 2 or 3 times in my life. Every time I've been abroad was to play, to go to play a gig.
You ever been to States?
No, not yet.
Oh, that's pretty sweet. I would say, how is Prague? Because I do have Prague on my list of places I want to go to. How is it?
Which one? Prague?
Prague, yeah, in the Czech Republic.
Yeah, I like that. I've been several times there. I think as what I saw, the city itself is similar to Budapest. I mean, the building style, the style of the buildings and the vibe is similar to Hungary, and the beers are good.
Always got to have the beer too. You can't run out of beer.
Yeah, you gotta check that out. I think it's a nice place.
It is on my list, but I think my mom, she really wants to get to New Zealand one of these days. So we do have Italy on our list. So we're going to get Italy, pick New Zealand, and maybe they'll eventually let me pick, because we use these travel agencies to kind of help set the trips up for us, and then they take us to the various places here and there. And I think one of it that did include Prague involved a good chunk of Poland, and I think Berlin in Germany too. So
yeah, I've been to Berlin as well. I really like that, and also the techno scene is strong there. So I'd like to go there more often. I mean, it's my goal for the next, I don't know, my short-term goal for the next 5 years is to be able to go and play in Europe with my own band, maybe with the duo setting. So I'm planning to travel more abroad.
And I guess before we jump into the fun questions, I guess what advice would you have for people who want to tour, write a book, or be a drum teacher? So I guess kind of break it down a little bit for each topic there.
Ah, I don't know. It's just I can only say cliches, but they are all true. If you always love what you do, or most of the time love what you do, because sometimes it's a pain in the ass, the whole thing. Sometimes you just get tired. You work too much, maybe, and you don't get out what you expected. But if it's balanced more towards, it doesn't care if you get anything out of this or not, but you love doing it, then it will happen one day. Your dreams will come true. But yeah, you will reach your goals. If it's a slow building, but you still love doing it, you will. There's no way you won't progress and won't reach this and that and get to different milestones. And that's the most important, that I really like, my favorite feeling as a musician is when I have a new idea or just play, maybe work on a drum cover, and I have this feeling that I'm totally buzzed, and I'm just shaking, and I feel like I'm burning, and so I'm excited. Yeah, basically. So, and I still get excited of a new idea or a new song. And if this feeling doesn't go, then there cannot be any problem.
Let's say that's the adrenaline that's just pumping through. And I know what you mean too, but it's more like if you are getting up in front of a stage, in front of a big audience, then that's when it starts kicking in, the hands start shaking, and then it all
Yeah,
starts too, because that's how it was with me in sports. That's how it always started. And once it starts, it all goes away. And then you're just in that moment right there too. So I know what you're talking about. That's pretty sweet.
yeah, yeah. So maybe, but if that feeling goes away, maybe you have to realize that now you have to do something else.
Yeah. I would say eventually, sometimes things, if you're doing it like on a repetitive schedule, then it becomes monotonous. So then it's no longer fun anymore. So what do you got to do then? You either stick with it or you move on to something else. So there you go. And
Yeah.
we're almost out of time, but we're just going to breeze through the fun questions right here. Then we just got one more after that. So ready for some fun ones? The first one, what is your favorite alcoholic drink?
Oh, I like beer. Beer is a standard for me,
Is
and
there
I
a
also
particular one?
like. Pardon?
Is there a particular brand that you like, or is it really any beer, really?
I drink Hungarian brands most of the time, and I like the lager or lager. I don't know how to pronounce the lager. That's the blonde beers.
Lager.
Lager, yeah, I like the lagers and also IPAs. Actually, the New England IPAs are my favorite besides lagers. But from New England IPAs, I can only drink a few because they are very dense.
I was gonna say I do like lagers too. But I think it's more strictly the American brands. I don't know how many international brands we get, but I do know the best beer I ever had was from Germany. Believe it or not, more strictly in the Bavarian region too, and they're known for their beer. I'll tell you that much, since that's where Munich is, and that's where the Hofbräuhaus is, and the Holy Grail of beers. So,
Yeah, yeah.
and I guess what's your favorite non-alcoholic drink?
Is lemonade, a nice, not so sweet lemonade, basic lemonade. Sparkling water with lemon.
Unless I got the sugar they just loaded up right there, so you're kind of jumping it all, jittering all over the place too.
Yeah, yeah, but I like it sweet too sometimes. But in summer, a nice bit sour lemonade is cool.
All
And
right,
coffee.
and coffee.
Yeah.
All right. I never understood people who do drink coffee because I think for me it was just because of a bad experience because I actually got burned the one time.
Oh,
But it was quite by accident because I think it was before they it was before they have those mugs where it has the lid on top. You're just able to just pick it open and just sip it like that. So I
yeah,
think my
yeah,
mom was using the old fashioned coffee mugs and it got on me a little bit. So I think that left me a bad impression for drinking a coffee in the future. But they always say like how bad it is for you too. So I mean, that's why I say I don't really get it. But I mean, to each his own. So, is it more Starbucks coffee or is it a different sort of brand of Hungarian coffee?
Yeah, I mean there are a lot of uh, artisan coffee shops here or artisan coffee cafes, and I really like those that they make, but not the Starbucks type. These are really, I don't know, yeah, artisan, high quality uh, coffees, and I like the short, like the ristretto and espresso with just a small milk.
Okay. Actually, I thought you were going to continue there, but okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to think if I ever had an espresso or nah. Nah, like I said, I'm not really big coffee. I don't know if I tried it again at some point, but oh well. So for this next one here, was there ever a song that was too tough for you to play, and did you either give up or did you come back after a while to try to finish it? So this could be either a song you made, and it was like, okay, I need to take some time off, or was it something for a drum cover?
Yeah, most of the time I just do it until I cannot do it. So yeah, I just, or if I give up, is because I think it's never because I don't, because it's too difficult and I feel that I cannot do it. Just I just start losing this excitement. I lose this excitement that I was talking about. But I think when I was younger, I wanted to play, let's say, Dream Theater songs, and those I gave up, which I didn't understand at that time. I just gave up and then put on some Metallica.
I was gonna say, yeah, Mike Portnoy. You can make it easy. It sounds easy at first, but then you try to mimic it, and it's a lot harder than what it seems. So same thing with Lars from Metallica too.
Yeah, and also I didn't have a double bass pedal yet, so I was missing a few things that were needed to play those songs. But yeah, there were songs that I gave up. But recently, I want to hear songs which sound really difficult at first, and then I can go and work on that. For example, my latest cover is by Matthews. He's a drum and bass producer, and his song is very fast and really syncopated with all these 16th note upbeats. So it was at first time I was like, whoa, what's happening? But I might have said that, or I could have said that, oh, it's too difficult, I don't want to take time. But I just went for it and worked on it and practiced, and then I really enjoyed playing that song.
I see. That's pretty sweet. I guess were you able to finally beat it?
Which one?
The Matt Fuse song you were talking about.
Yeah, I did, and I recorded, and it's on YouTube already.
That's good. That's a crowning achievement for you, man. Good job.
Yeah.
All right. And would you say that's the drum cover you loved the most, or was there another one you liked?
Yeah, I mean, I did this a few months ago, and this one is it's a big favorite of mine now, so it's one of my favorite. But another one I really like is actually it was one of my first videos as the hybrid drummer on my YouTube channel. I had a Busta Rhymes acapella, a fast rap acapella, and I created a drum solo over the acapella. So I basically played the notes for each syllable. So I followed all the words, all the syllables he said. That was a big challenge, and I really liked playing that, and I still like listening back to that. So these are my two favorite, I would say.
I see. That's pretty cool. And last of the fun questions: what is currently your favorite song, or is there a song that you listened to a good bit recently?
Yeah, recently I listened to the new Skrillex albums, and I really like those. I think most of the songs are top 10 for me now, but one of my favorites from the new albums is called Xena, or I don't know, Xena.
Maybe Xena or something like
Xena.
that.
Yeah, I listen to that song a lot of times every day, and also I've just started listening to Robert Glasper's Black Radio 3 because I listened to Robert Glasper's Black Radio 1 and 2 a lot, and I've just discovered that there's already a third album, And there's one song from that, I think it's called Bright Lights. It's the last song on the album. It's like an emotional song, but that really stuck in my head. So I listen to that too nowadays a lot.
Yeah, those ones that get stuck in your head too. That's the ones they stick around a good bit, but it seems like after maybe you do a drum cover on it, for instance, it then kind of seems like fade away. It's almost like I beat it or that sort of thing. I'll listen to it every now and again, but it's almost like I think I beat a crowning achievement right there or something like that. So I don't know if that's how it is, but all good choices they're made.
Yeah, but this happens to be very often with songs which are not, so I'm not amazed by a song. It just gets stuck in my head. I just go by, maybe go into a shop and something goes on the radio and I come out of the shop and I find myself repeating one line in my head, for 10 minutes.
And it's like when you soon want to like sit down, just like maybe put into Ableton, for instance, or whether you want to do MIDI, you then realize that it fades away for some reason. And it's almost like that block comes back into it. And have you encountered that too? Whenever you heard something you liked and then you just want to put it into your own sort of context?
So you mean when I sit down and don't have any ideas for production?
It's something like that, or even if you heard like a song on the radio and you like that sort of beat that you heard, when you try to like sit down on the computer and say you're just trying to put it into Ableton for whatever reason, do you kind of lose it at that point? It's kind of like a writer's block sort of thing, but we call it musician's block.
Yeah. No, I think when I get inspired, it works well for me because either I try to recreate something like that, so it's more of a practice, like a production practice. So I wouldn't consider that as something original, but I still take time or spend time and learn something from that. Or if I have an inspiration from a song or a beat, then I mess around with it, maybe take it to the drums and come up with some kind of own version of that, and maybe turn that into a track or just a short snippet.
A loop, more specifically, I guess, if it came to it. That's pretty sweet. All right. So now we talked for a good hour right here, and we're down to the last question right here. But before we jump into that, did you have any questions for me or any last words you want to say before we jump into it?
No, I'm good. I'm good. We can continue because soon I will also have to leave. Because I'm still in the middle of moving my stuff and I still have a few clothes here. So that's what I'm gonna do tonight because here it's past 8:30 p.m. So I'm gonna move some stuff to my new flat and then start the new life.
I was say it looks dark out there, so I was gonna say, oh, it's past your bedtime, man, or something like that. So
no, not yet, but yeah, it's already evening.
All right. So the last question right here, and it may seem cliche, but I always like to ask it just to at least get people's answers on it and see what they think about it. But given what COVID has done, what sort of message of hope could he give to musicians out there, as well as people?
Like the younger people who are starting out, or
it could even be like people, I guess, who have maybe find a new career path somehow later in their life and they're trying to do it, but really any people. So
yeah, I think it's just starting from my example, or if I look at myself, I can say if you have something that you passionately do or passionately like or love doing, then that can take away a lot of weight from your problems. So you can, and if you can focus on this passionate thing that you like doing, then bad things are gonna matter a little bit less. You're gonna worry a bit less on money, on any conflict you have with your friends or with other people. It's like social connections, because you can find the whole thing is in yourself, because it's just you and your passion. Or if this passion is spread among more people, like if you play music and you are in a band, that's cool. But at the end of the day, it comes down to just you and what's in your head. And if you have something that constantly moves you, then you don't need to fear anything. It also sounds a bit cliche, but but I think, cliche things are cliches because we've said them so many times, because they are basic truth things of life. And I feel that, and I feel in my example that this is something that has really kept me alive, and brought me back from whenever deep I was down. It's because it's just, and it was music and the drums for me, but you can find it in anything.
Spoken like a true prodigy. All right. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, then, man. So we reached the end of my podcast right here. Did you have any shout outs or any final words you want to say before we close?
Yeah, I just shout out to everyone listening to this and watching your listening to your podcasts, and keep doing it. Yeah, cool. But there are many good musicians here, at least in Hungary, definitely, but probably around East Europe. So if you find some guys, I recommend reaching out to them, because there are a lot of valuable things going on here in the music scene.
That sounds good. And I guess how else can people reach you outside of your website?
Yeah, it's thehybriddrummer.net.
Are you also on like Facebook, Instagram? I guess. So what other social media channels do you use outside of YouTube and your website?
Yeah, I have YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. What else? Yeah, I think these.
All right.
And on every platform, I'm the hybrid drummer, basically.
Nice. It's short and simple too. So all right. Well,
Yeah.
guys, you can make sure you go check this guy out. Also, there's Timmy. He's just caught in.
Goodbye.
Wave goodbye, Timmy. All right. It's good to have Timmy on here too, dude. All right. So everyone, my guest today was Matt, the hybrid drummer, Hungary. Go subscribe to his channel. Go check out his content and everything. This guy's gonna make it huge one day. So, Matt, you stay safe. Stay tuned, y'all.
Thank you very much. See you guys.